So in this video, we're going to look at a different aspect of typability, and one I don't normally introduce this early, but I want you guys to see how it works. So the first thing we're going to do is move past lesson 4 to lesson 5. We're going to do that by hitting the F2 key twice.
Next lesson. Lesson 5, the Enter key.
So lesson 5 is dedicated to the numpad. Now this is a lesson that we're going to skip because you may or may not have a numpad. If you do have a numpad and you want to complete this lesson independently, feel free to do so. But many laptops out there do not have a numpad, although some do. And this lesson, lesson 5, is going to require that you hit specific keys on the numpad in order to complete it. Which is another reason why we're going to skip this lesson for now. So we're going to hit F2 twice quickly again to move to lesson 6.
Next lesson, lesson 6, moving the typing cursor with right and left arrows.
So this is more of a complicated lesson to those just getting used to touch typing on the keyboard. So this video will be a two-parter, and get ready to learn a little bit more about how to use the computer non-visually. Let's get to it.
A metallic blue globe is seen spinning in the center of the screen on a dark blue background. The words Vision Optional slide in each side. Below, Braille letters appear one by one, spelling out Vision Optional.
All right, so before we get to this lesson, we want to consider a couple of things. One, I don't normally teach navigation this early into a client's program. I usually save that for later. And the reason for that is because I feel that as a new user to the keyboard, especially when it comes to typing non-visually, you want to develop a knowledge of the keyboard and confidence on the keyboard before you move on to more complex things, such as text navigation. The other thing is with this lesson, it's very wordy. It talks a lot. And that's because the subject of navigation non-visually needs a little more explanation. So for the purpose of this lesson, I'm going to cut down on that by hitting the Control key to stop the speech. And I will also be hitting F1 twice quickly to repeat the instruction. And using that method will also cut down on a lot of the extra commentary as well. So before we begin, I want to show you how to skip this lesson because I feel it's important to give you options. If you want to do this lesson, you can follow along with me. If you don't want to do this lesson and you want to focus on typing the letters, numbers, and symbols, which I suggest, then you can do that as well. But when you encounter, I believe typability refers to this as a game. It sure does appear as one because it's in a dialog box. So in order to close a dialog box or to close out of one of these games, you simply hit the Escape key.
Escape, dialog closed. Now no lesson is running.
Now no lesson is running. You're still on the same lesson, so if you hit F2 3 times, which I'm going to do in a second, it will bring that lesson back up. But if you hit F2 twice, you will move to the next lesson, which in this case would be lesson 7. But we're going to go ahead and repeat this lesson and get to it.
Repeating lesson, lesson 6, moving the typing cursor with right and left arrows.
All right, so the first task, and there are many tasks in this one, I think around 12. What you're going to do is be moving the typing cursor. The typing cursor, especially those of you who may have had vision in the past or may still have usable vision, you know that the typing cursor is a blinking line. And that's what we're going to be moving around here, is that blinking line. So what typability wants to do for the first task, and again, if this is the first time you're going through this lesson, I suggest listening to all of the instructions your first time through so you get an idea for what it's looking for. But the first task is typing the word ask, and then we're going to move the typing cursor to the beginning of the word and then move it to the end of the word and hit the enter key. Now it's going to say numpad enter, but you don't need the numpad enter key here. You can use the key from the main section of the keyboard. And that key, that enter key, is going to be with the right hand on the home row, that pinky finger that's sitting on that semicolon key. you're going to use that pinky finger. You're going to move it to the right 2 spots. So you're not going to move the other fingers off the home row on that hand. You're just going to slide that pinky finger 1 spot, then 2. That second spot is going to be the enter key. So what we want to do is type ask, A-S-K.
A-S-K.
And as we type, that cursor moves to a blank spot for awaiting more input or navigation commands. Now we're going to move it left, and every time you hear a letter spoken with the JAWS screen reader, which is what Typability uses, we know that we're going to be in front of a letter, and in front of this case means that we're going to be to the left of that letter. So I'm going to hit the left arrow.
K. Kilo.
I'm in front of K.
S. Sierra.
Now I'm in front of S.
A. Alpha.
Now I'm in front of the A. So I know I'm in front of the A of ask, and I need to go back to the end of the word. So I'm going to hit the right arrow.
S. Sierra.
And you hear S Sierra. That's the letter that we're in front of, and that pause, and then the name is the phonetic name of the letter. I'm going to cut down on that going forward by hitting the control key. So we're going to go K.
K.
I'm going to hit the right arrow one more time.
Blank.
And when you hear blank, you know you're at the end of the word, and you can hit that enter key. Again, that enter key is hit from the main section of the keyboard by using your pinky finger, which is resting on that semicolon. You're going to move it to the right 1 time, then a 2nd time. If you have a numpad enter, you can go ahead and hit that from the previous lesson. I'm going to hit enter now.
Enter. Ask. But beautiful. Task 2. Alright, now in this task, you're going to type the word salad. Salad is spelled S.
So now we're going to type salad.
S-A-L-A-D.
Same thing. We're going to move to the left.
D-A-L-A-S.
Now I'm in front of the S of salad, and I'm going to move to the end.
A-L-A-D. Blank.
Again, blank lets you know you're at the end, and we're going to hit enter.
Enter. Salad. Terrific. Task 3. Now, before we do our next task, I want to explain to you what actually happens when you press the right arrow.
So this is overly wordy. If this is your first time through this lesson, please listen to all of the instructions to get an idea for what it's looking for and more knowledge of what you're doing. But I'm going to hit F1 twice to repeat the most relevant instructions.
Type the word salad. Put spaces after each letter, then left arrow to the beginning of the word, then right arrow to the end of the word.
All right, so now we're going to type salad again with spaces after each letter. So S.
S. Space. A. Space. L. Space. A. Space. D.
And then I'm going to go to the beginning of the word, so that means I'm going to the left until I hear S.
D. Space. A. Space. L. Space A space S.
And notice how it reads
Sierra.
the spaces to you as well, which is a very good thing. Now we're going to go to the right until we reach the end of the word. So salad ends with the letter D, so we're going to hear D, and then we're going to hit the right arrow again to hear blank, and that's where we're going to put our enter. So we're in front of S.
Space A space.
Again, I'm going to the right.
L space A space D blank.
And then I'm going to put my enter.
Enter.